Here's one of the easy ways to end up with a mediocre average life: spending major time on minor things. Sophisticated people learn to weigh everything before they spend time or money. You've got to weigh before you pay. Whether you're going to spend heavy time or light time, you've just got to weigh. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you can get trapped into spending heavyweight time with lightweight people. Now, it's okay to have casual friends as long as you give them casual time, not serious time. Spend major time with major influence and minor time with minor influence. It's so easy to do just the opposite, but don't let it be said that you fell into that trap. So maybe all you need to do to change some of the influences in your life is not to eliminate them, but merely limit them. Say, I have a good time with these people, but I'm not going to spend days and days with them anymore. I'm just going to cut that down and save some of that time for more major people and more major enterprises. Remember, it's your life. You can spend your time with whomever you want and whenever you want. But you didn't invest in this program for me to kid you. Take a look at your priorities and your values. We have so little time at our disposal. Wouldn't it make sense to invest it wisely? If you have only $100 in your pocket, it's okay to spend $20 for fun and put $80 toward your important values and commitments. But would you be happy reversing those percentages? Better to put the majority of your money where you know it will get you a positive return, rather than put it where the taste is brief and the results are poor. Of course, you must be the judge. You must determine whether the situation and the people call for disassociation or limited association. But remember, if it isn't taking you where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, now is the time to fix it. The third process is the one I most strongly suggest you begin, and that is called expanded association. That is, spending more time with the right people. People of substance and culture, people who understand philosophy and discipline, people of accomplishment and character. Many years ago, Mr. Schoaf said to me, Mr. Rohn, if you truly wish to be successful, you've got to get around the right people. Then he said, it looks like in your present circumstances you're going to have to plot and scheme. And that was true. I had to plot and scheme to get around the right people. On some of those early opportunities I had to be around successful people, I would park my car a couple of blocks away. I knew that if they saw my car, I'd never get in. On more than one occasion, I got the question, how did you get here? To which I would respond, oh, someone dropped me off. And that was me dropping me off a couple of blocks away. Whatever you have to do, do it. Keep asking the question, who can I get around? Who could I spend some time with who would have a positive influence on my life?
Study the alchemy. Now, here's what I mean by that. What happens to most people in life, especially the victims, is they reach a part of their life, a difficult time, and they call it failure. I mean, even just labeling a setback as a failure triggers something into your mindset to release cortisol, the fear hormone, which blocks your best performance. And so you want to see yourself and you want to study the alchemy, which is where other people are seeing a failure or a setback or even a little problem, you want to look for the gold. You want to train your brain so you have a dominant belief. It just becomes automatic because you've practiced it so much, where when someone says there's a problem or there's a wall or there's a failure, you literally see the alchemy to turn the lead into gold. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you're going through an illness. A lot of people who watch this podcast are going through difficulties or outright tragedies. But you want to practice seeing the setback or the dark time as fuel to leverage your growth. And so on this first point about study the alchemy, no matter what you're going through in your life, whether it's a large difficulty or a small setback, you want to ask yourself, how can I use what I'm going through as fuel for my growth? You want to ask yourself, what is the gorgeous opportunity hidden inside this so-called problem? I mean, and if you look at the mass of humanity, they really train their brains to focus on problems, right? They hit a wall and they just, because of their belief system, they don't know it because most people are not really that aware of their belief systems. So they blame it on the world. They blame it on the supplier. They blame it on the teammate. They blame it on their husband or wife. They blame it on their childhood versus understanding our daily performance reflects our deepest beliefs. And so if you are experiencing some kind of a setback, whether it's large or tiny, you want to train your brain to see the treasure within the lead.
The fifth one is about mindset. And the mindset shift is to appreciation. Because the truth is, oftentimes, everything while we're trying to get, we're focused on what we don't have. And if you can shift your mindset simply from not focusing on what I lack, but what I have, and shift it from not focusing on the bottom of that ladder, the stuff, but to the connection and the growth, that is the shift that will lead to the most lasting happiness. We have access to this at all times of our life. Even in the annoying moments when we're standing in line and it's 20 minutes to get out of the food store, you can focus on the fact that you're 20 minutes late. What you don't have is your time. Or you can focus on the fact that you have food surrounding you from all kinds of the world, and you live literally better than kings did 100 years ago because they couldn't get grapes, right? They were on the other side of the planet. So depending on what you compare yourself to, if you're alive today, if you're watching YouTube, if you're on the internet, you literally live better than kings did not very long ago. You are in the top 0.1% of lucky people who have ever lived. So no matter what's going on in your life, I know that there will be things that knock you down, things that suck, reasons to be unhappy, but there's always a reason to bounce back if you shift your focus to what you have compared to what you don't. So I hope you find that helpful. I hope that you can focus on what you appreciate. And if you take one thing from this right now, write down or say in your head, one thing that is common to your life, that is little, that maybe you don't notice all the time, that you appreciate right now. And I think that that'll make you have a much better day. And if you can keep it up, that habit will give you a much happier life.
See, most people think success is a straight line. I'm going to get out of high school, I'm going to get a job, and everything's going to be fine. That's not how it plays out, folks, okay? This is how it plays out. Guy decides he wants something, and the line gets all squiggly. See, right now, a guy decides over the summer, hey, man, I'm going to get this job this summer, and I'm going to make some money this summer. And then he gets distracted by the first squiggly. I don't know what he's doing. He's squiggling off because he's not focused on his success. He squiggles. You ever use this term, squiggle? Yeah, man, I'm doing a squiggle. You know, I'm going to go out and hang out with the guys this weekend. It's a squiggle. It's off path, off purpose, off potential. And so he ends up in a bunch of loops over here. Most people get stuck in loops. I did. When I got out of high school, I was in a lot of trouble. Didn't have any focus. Wasn't fulfilling my potential. Was distracted. Didn't have a coach. Didn't have an older brother. Didn't have a father. Lost. What am I doing? Okay, don't know where I'm going. I know I got this potential. It's sitting there inside of me. It's a little candle burning. I know it's there. I hadn't quite put it out when I was 20 years old. But it was low. Any of you ever been there? What am I doing every day, man? Why am I getting up every day? Why am I going to school? I didn't even know why I was going to school. I was just going to school. I was just doing school. I didn't even want to go to school. See, I'm squiggling around, okay? If you persist and stay focused and surround yourself with other people that persist and stay focused, who knows, maybe you'll come out the other end.
Space and time themselves do not exist independent of us. So most of us think that space-time is fundamental reality, and all the objects inside space-time are on the stage, this pre-existing stage of space-time. And I'm saying that that whole idea is wrong, that space-time is something that you create in this moment. You're the author of space-time. You're not a bit player that's shown up 14 billion years later after this stage was set. So we're the authors of space and time and all the objects that we see. We're not bit players in space-time.
And I said, okay, what are the action steps I need to take? I broke this down just like an athlete. What are the action steps I need to take? Right. I need to find a coach because I have no clue how to speak in front of people. I need to practice and I need to figure out how to get to this point. I started researching and I heard about Toastmasters. And I went to 5 clubs in a week. And I said, I gotta go find the one that is the scariest to me. And I went to one where a guy had like been on Oprah before and all these other professionals and speakers were getting $20,000 speeches. And I was like, this terrifies me, I'm gonna go here. And I remember I walk in, I have this full arm cast on, a mangy t-shirt, board shorts probably, and sandals. I'm walking in, they're all in suits, professionals, like 30, 40, 50-year-olds. I'm this 24-year-old punk. And I say, hey guys, here's my dream. And I was terrified, but they were so supportive. They were so supportive, and they welcomed me in, and they said, we're gonna support you. Every week I would go and practice and show up. And every week I had a coach that would go over my speeches with me, these 5-minute speeches. And I remember the first 3 speeches, I got up there and I had word for word written out what I was gonna say, my speech. And I would spend weeks on these 5-minute, like simple speeches. And I would stand in front of the podium, shaking, sweating before I even got up there, just like the anticipation of speaking in front of 10 people terrified me. Even though they were like friendly, they terrified me, right?
Sure.
And so I got up there with my cast and I read word for word behind the podium. And little by little, I was like, okay, this week I'm not gonna have the podium there. I'm gonna stand in front of the podium, right? So I get in front of the podium, but I'm still reading word for word. Then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have note cards. And then I'm gonna do no note cards. And eventually I did 10 speeches in about 10 months. And the last one I got a standing ovation.
Wow.
And after that moment, I got a $5,000 speaking gig offer as well, because I was doing the work for what I needed to do to get there. Also, I was building credibility and expertise in another topic, which allowed me to get that. And it was just an incredible lesson for me to know that I can put a dream out there, I can put it up somewhere, and I can visualize it, and I can take the action to make it happen, even if I'm terrified, even if I feel like it seemed impossible to happen in that time frame. But by putting it out there and asking for the support was big for me, and then taking really extreme action that terrified me is what allowed me to get it.